We are deep inside Transylvania to taste something truly exciting. Fetească Regală. Mountainous region of Transylvania, like somewhere like central, north central Romania. It is striking, it's nice, it's mouth-watering, it's fresh. So a bit of history about the grape variety. I mean, fairly old, as I said. First spotted allegedly in 1920 in the or around the village of Daneș, and yeah, that is very, very close to the birthplace of Dracula. We are deep inside Transylvania, mountains all around, beautiful vineyards behind me, and we are at the Liliac Winery, which, like, with very short notice, hosted me here with like a beautiful setup table in their like little like vineyard lodge to taste something truly exciting. Fetească Regală. And this is like a grape variety like no other actually is associated to like the Romanian winemaking culture, a local grape variety that we basically only find in Romania today, and a grape variety with a very, very confusing history when it comes to genetics. We are going to talk about this. But first, let's have maybe a look at the first of the two wines that we are tasting here today. So the Liliac Winery was founded in 2010, actually like by an Austrian who said like, let's do some wine here. Why not? And you can see this all across the winery. Not only because they have like some very interesting grape varieties like Neuburger that we find in Austria, but I was told that has been here actually before and was not planted by the Austrian founder of the winery. But also when we are going through this like very modern, very well-equipped winery, we are seeing actually like Austrian equipment wherever we look. Beautiful facilities, beautiful, little bit like off from the location. However, they have like some guest house and this like beautiful like lodge, so it's an amazing like place to stay and maybe get like an introduction to like one of the Romanian top producers from the region here. We are about 2 hours like east of Cluj-Napoca, which is Romania's second largest city, and a city I absolutely urge you to visit because it's beautiful, young and vibrant. So let's start with some wine. The wine is like described usually when we go into like the Wine Grapes encyclopedia as like a fairly simple wine. I mean, Jensis and her team are saying the most planted Fetească, responsible for fresh aromatic whites in Romania. So this is usually like a headline that should make us a little bit like, yeah, maybe not coming in with the like biggest expectations, but I'm really excited to see actually what the Liliac Winery is getting out of this. Liliac, by the way, is simply meaning bed. So the bed, again, all over us, on the glass, on the bottle of wine, and in the name of the winery. So what we have here in the glass, powerful aromatics. I mean, it's fresh, it's fruity, it's peachy, some nectarine, definitely going into like the stone fruit area, but also like an extremely nice like citric connotation. And that is something that I found like exciting to talk to Paula, the winemaker here, that basically we can feel this here right now after we came like from Hungary, where it has been like super summery and warm. We are now more like in the mountainous region of Transylvania, like somewhere like central, north central Romania. It's mountainous, it is green, it is lush, it is rainy. We had some great like thunderstorm and hailstorm like last night in Cluj-Napoca, and really showing that we are in a different like microclimate than, for example, in Hungary. So typical problems like drought, maybe not so much a problem. Fairly cooler temperatures, perfect for like growing the wines, maturing the wines on the vines, and like waiting with harvest, while of course preserving freshness and acidity. Like in the steel tank driven Fetească Regală with like 12.5% alcohol that we immediately have in the nose. It is acidic, it is fresh, it is lively, it is vibrant, beautiful actually, but still again has the maturity of the fruit that just makes it like a delightful composition just to smell it. And what I just said about the acidity and keeping the acidity fresh here in this like fairly, let's say continental climate with some good day and night contrast. It is striking, it's nice, it's mouth-watering, it's fresh. It just wants you to take the next sip. Just go on. Just like enjoy me with friends on the terrace. We have some beautiful like nice local cheese here. I just actually don't know what to dip in, but this here is a fairly like hard cheese. I think this goes absolutely perfect. Creamy, nice, nutty, and again the acidity here cuts beautifully to the fat of the cheese, giving like some good substance, some good like balance. So this is actually like a very strong start for like a grape variety that basically nobody outside of Romania really has heard about. So a bit of history about the grape variety. I mean, fairly old, as I said. First spotted allegedly in 1920 in the, or around the village of Daneș. And yeah, that is very, very close to the birthplace of Dracula, actually, historically, from a, let's say, literature perspective. In the beginning, like a funny naming, actually, like a German name, and this shows us like immediately like the mix of culture and tradition here. This whole like region where we are in Romania has like a long-standing German influence, long-standing Hungarian influence, Romanian influence, really like a mix of culture, very beautiful. And so the first name for the grape variety has actually been German, Dunesdorfer Königsast. So it took until 1928 until it for the first time has been presented in Bucharest under its Romanian name Fetească Regală, which translates to the royal girl. So Fetească is basically what we could call for girl or maiden. We have different kind of like grape varieties in Romania actually that have the Fetească connotation, Fetească Negră, Albă, Regală. We are talking about those in different tasting videos. And then Regală, royal, there we see the connotation to Rex and Regus and so on and so forth. So the royal maiden grape, that is how the grape's name translates to English. But then there has been like a lot of like confusion about where this grape is actually originating from. For like roughly 100 years, so since the grape first disappeared, running theory has been that it has been like a cross of Fetească Albă and on the other side Grasă de Cotnari, so like a local grape variety from Cotnari. So the idea has been that like two very typical indigenous Romanian grapes gave birth to Fetească Regală. However, how it is with genetic analysis, especially when it comes to grapes, especially in the last 10 to 20 years, a lot of development happened and we could actually now debug like this myth and come to the conclusion that Fetească Regală is actually like the result of Fetească Albă on the one side and Frâncușă on the other side. Still like a local grape variety from the Cotnari region that we are also like going to taste like in a separate tasting video. But it is actually like a funny little side story that 100 years of like confusion or like a myth where this grape variety is coming from because we didn't have like proper genetic analysis at the time still can be found as a wrong source wherever we look. And while this grape often like is presented as a kind of like simple grape variety or like simple white wine, especially when we are like in Romania and we are in local gastronomy, etc. Actually, Liliac as a producer here shows us that this grape variety also can be taken seriously. It is actually like fairly versatile, and we have here now like a second wine from the estate, which the private selection that they are like releasing actually got some oak aging. So I'm very excited to see how this actually will turn out in the glass. Fetească Regală, we can immediately see the alcohol here with 13.5% is at a different level. So yeah, we expect automatically like a little bit more substance, a little bit more depth, no doubt about that. And yeah, I think this is like already in the nose. I don't want to say like a step up because that would basically like disqualify the first wine we had, which is made as it is, fairly easy, drinking, straightforward, fresh acidic. But here we can immediately say in the nose, yeah, we are going from like a wine that we want to share like on a nice summer day or summer afternoon with our friends on the terrace and just like having a nice gathering to something where we say, we definitely need some food on the table. This is like substantial, this is oily, this is malolactic, this is creamy, this is ripe fruit with great like lemon zestiness and freshness. This is some beautiful like peach aromatics coming out here, so a little bit like in line with the steel tank driven wines that we had before. But again, more oiliness, more substance, more malolactic connotation. Cries immediately like, give me some substance, give me some fattiness I can work with, give me some meat even, like probably some pork dishes or similar, or even just like beautiful fish dishes that this wine will go with. And having on the palate, it is substantial, it is powerful, it is juicy, it is spicy. The oak like is coming out really nicely here, giving us some substance to work with. So this is something where I really want to say, yeah, put this like to a fish with a nice beurre blanc or something like this, probably like a lot of like local fish dishes. We can think this with some pork dishes, with sauerkraut of course. I mean, after all, we are in Romania, so we need some cabbage on the table, no doubt about that. Beautiful wine. and a beautiful like example how Fetească Regală not only is simple plain white wine, steel tank driven, but also can be serious, also can be substantially oak aged, and probably also like put away in the cellar for quite a while. So yeah, it was a beautiful like first introduction, our first like Romanian wine we are tasting on this journey. Thank you so much for joining Uncork My Wine and my like endeavor of tasting 1368 grape varieties. We are going to have much more from Romania to come, and please remember also like to like this video or subscribe to the channel in order to support our work. And thank you again to the Liliac Winery for like welcoming us here on so short notice, making this possible, and we link definitely in the show notes to them so you can visit them, you can find out how to find them and also like where to find their wines. Cheers, see you around somewhere in Romania.